Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Running a Holistic Office. Yay! I am the creator and host of Running a Holistic Office. I'm Kristen Ford, and I'm the creator of Holistic Office, an electronic records. How about that? Can't even get that right. It is an electronic health records management system designed for independent practitioners so that they can spend a whole lot more time on caring for their patients and a lot less time on administrative work. So I created Running a Holistic Office to share with you a lot of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years working in practices and small businesses so that you can get the most out of your current EHR and create a streamlined practice that you enjoy running, that your employees enjoy coming to, and that your patients feel like they just love and want to see you and refer you to other people. So with that, we're going to, as we're waiting for a few more people to come in, I'm going to introduce to you today's topic. And it's all about leadership. Leadership, it's funny. It's one of these concepts that I think, everybody feels there's just all these different traits of, what's good leadership, what's bad leadership. And while there's some things we agree on and there's many nuances that maybe we don't agree on, one thing I've noticed for sure is that we all seem to see and recognize good leadership, and we always see and recognize bad leadership. So what is good leadership? Is it just making money, right? Is it getting to that $1 billion mythical unicorn status? Is a great leader someone who creates social change? Is it inventing a life-changing technology, right? Or medicine? Or is it just someone who wins all the time, right? Maybe it's all of those things, but we all know that not everybody wins all the time, right? So, I was thinking about all of this because, especially after, just celebrating, the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., leadership is just so important, right? And I was just really thinking about this and how it impacts everything about a practice, everything about a country, right? I mean, leadership matters, words matter. So it can set the tone for everything that you do. And so I thought about it and I thought, there's 3 traits, I think, of good leadership. And these are things that I've seen from afar and things that I've seen up close. And I've really boiled it down to these 3 different things. And so, these traits I really wanted to talk about today and hope that, maybe you see yourself or you inspire yourself to do more, or you're one of those bad examples, maybe, change that a little bit. But I've been really fortunate. I've worked with some great people, and I've been able to see a lot of really good leaders up close. So so some of the examples, they stick out because they're not the best, but overall it's been a good ride. So what are these 3 traits that I think makes a good leadership, a good leader, and makes a job or a career worth working for and being a part of. So the first thing that I feel is that makes a good leader is the leader who walks the walk and appreciates every role and department. Okay, and I feel that this is super important. And it doesn't always mean you have to work your way up from the bottom here, but it does mean that, especially when you own a practice, have you worked the front desk? Have you done some of this prep work before? Do you know what it's like to follow up with your patients afterwards? Do you know what it's like being in your practice? And then there's been a lot of like just local examples, on LinkedIn about going in and having a disaster of a time just trying to get a pair of glasses. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Tisha. And I know for me personally, I years ago had a dermatologist that I went into their office, and it was just people were rude. They didn't care that I was there. And then I met the doc himself, and then I got it. Like attracted like, and I just didn't go back, right? This wasn't a well-run practice. I didn't feel welcome, and I don't care how smart you are. I want to feel welcome. So I find, the leaders who understand that, yes, sales are important, and without a sales, you don't have a company, right? Without expertise, you can't sell a service. I get all of that. But, your front desk person is also super important, right? That first vision when you come in and how you're greeted just sets the tone for the entire visit, doesn't it? Understanding what your finance department does, right? And appreciating that role and how it can help you. Um, you know, just because, all of these things are just really important. And what I've seen is that the folks who appreciate all of these different, departments are the ones who are really leading and are thriving. So what are some great examples of that? We can all think of certain things. One that comes to mind for me is is Southwest Airlines, right? I remember way back in the day, I'm really dating myself here, when they got started and they were the low cost leaders and everything else. And it's been interesting watching them over the years, be one of the few profitable airlines and treating their people really well. When COVID hit here, they didn't furlough people, it's a big deal, right? And their CEO, what an interesting guy. He shows up at 3 in the morning and will help clean a plane and get baggage on and make sure there's an on time, departure. No wonder they do so good, so well. No wonder they've got this awesome logo here. That's real leadership. You talk to, listen, it's a big company. Not everybody's going to be happy, but the vast majority of people talk about great experiences on Southwest. So, kudos to them. Another company that I think is really interesting is Zapier. Zapier, they have a policy, and there's other companies like this as well. That every person in every department has to go work customer service. Okay. And so what do you think that really does? Not only does it get, everybody in the department focused on your customer and what your customer is saying, in your case, your patient, right? But it also lets other departments understand the value of the departments they work with, right? I personally worked in a small company that they decided that they wanted to isolate every single department, okay? And it was because the leader was not comfortable. He couldn't keep control over everything, and he had to be the smartest guy in the room all the time. And so he would keep everybody siloed. And so, when I would come in, and here I'm in the finance department, and I can't do my job without knowing what everybody else does. And as I would find out more and more about this, about how this company operated, A, I was able to fix their problems, but B, they didn't appreciate it. And they didn't appreciate it because they don't view, every department as an important department. So don't let that be you, and in a small practice or an independent practice, this is your work family, right? So, it's really important that you appreciate and understand the roles that they do. It just is. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come in and they're like, well, we're going to change this process. They haven't even done the dang job. Really? Come on. So you need to definitely think about these things and make sure that you understand what everybody is doing, and and appreciate it, and when I talked about Martin Luther King Jr. and how we celebrated his life and work yesterday, talk about a great leader who walked the walk. I mean, come on. Not only did he organize all of those boycotts and make real impacting social change, he walked hand in hand with them. He was arrested with them. He was right there with everyone, and he inspired, and he really changed the world. So do I really think that everybody's going to change the world? No, but we can certainly impact the world around us. And so I encourage everybody here to, appreciate every role, walk that walk, and spend a little time in each department and do a little bit of their work. It's always eye opening. I promise you. Okay, so I feel pretty passionate about that, right? All right, so this brings me into leaders who empower people. These are people who are trained, they're mentored, they lead, they take responsibility. That's what they allow their employees to do, right? When you empower the people who are in your practice or in your business, they're going to do great things for you. Nobody wants to be micromanaged. I mean, come on, man. It's important that you oversee. I'm not saying just, oh, it's just a free for all here, or that you don't demonstrate the ability to manage well. But if you're hiring a professional, even if you're hiring somebody who's not a professional and they're learning their job, give them the tools, empower them. And the best places that I've worked with have done just that. When you come in and you spend some time with somebody and you're patient and you give them the tools that they need, it is amazing what happens. People stay with you, they work hard for you, and they make your business successful, right? And I think that is just super important in any great leader to be able to do that. One of my favorite examples of this is, Trader Joe's, right? I mean, listen, I love Trader Joe's. They've got a great product and everything. But you know what? Every time I go in there, other people are super friendly too. And when I did a little digging on this, it's because they're empowered, right? If I can't tell you how many times I've walked in and I'm like, oh, where's the rice cauliflower? I don't know where that is. And somebody will literally stop what they're doing and they'll be like, oh, it's over here. And they're like, I just love it this way. And they walk me over and they're just pleasant to deal with, right? I mean, other places it's like, lady, it's over in aisle 1 over there. I'm sorry, got to finish stocking over here or whatever. It's never like that in this store. And this is another company that they keep it real, right? So not only is it a comfortable vibe to work in and a casual vibe to work in, but they also rotate responsibilities in there. So if you're somebody who is, stocking up things in the freezer, you might do that one day or even for just part of a shift and then work on something else in the store as well. And again, what you end up doing is you're training a workforce that's loyal to you. They're empowered to do their job, and you've got a whole stable of people that you can hire from within, right? That's empowerment, and I dig it. So thanks, Trader Joe's. Love shopping for you. You got a great product to boot. Yay. And really everybody I talk to who's worked there, great benefits. Gotta love it, so. So that brings me to my trait number 3. And this one here, I would like to see more of. And there's all this talks about being inclusive and everything. And I do think that the best leaders, they are inclusive, but they're also thankful, right? So they're inclusive and they're thankful. So when you are making decisions for your practice or your business and everything, are you making decisions for your employees or are you making them with them? And that doesn't mean that they have to be in every dang meeting that you have, but you know what? Getting their feedback and getting their input, they're going to see things a different way than you do, and it might be a better way. And you know what, and that's good for your company, that's good for everybody, right? And so when you are thankful for this, and you're inclusive, and you accept them for who they are, for the ideas that they bring to the table, and you allow them to do the job, right? That's that empowerment we were talking about here. Wonderful things happen, and you build a really great place to be, and you build a really good company. And honestly, my favorite example of this was recently. She made international headlines. Sarah Blakely, I'm tearing up thinking about it. I aspire to be like Sarah Blakely. She is the CEO of Spanx. And if you haven't been paying attention, last November, she sold a majority stock of Spanx to, I think, BlackRock, right? And for what, $1.2 billion. That's a billion with a B, ladies. Okay, and gentlemen, whoever's watching here, congratulations to her. But what she did next, this is what makes me tear up. And this is where I become kind of that emotional person. But, she rewarded every single employee in Spanx with 2 first-class tickets to anywhere they wanted to go and 10 grand to spend. I'm tearing up thinking about the video as I watched. These employees were so overwhelmed and so faithful and so loyal. They helped her build $1 billion company. What a way to say thank you. What a way to walk the walk. What a way to empower. I mean, what a way to say thank you. So, as I compose myself from my little geekdom here and my little fangirldom, thank you for indulging me. And thank you for, Sarah, for providing me such an awesome example of a way to say thank you. So, maybe not the longest show today, but I do think that, being a good leader is just key to making any size business run. And you don't have to be a billion-dollar company. You don't even need to be, a multi-million dollar company. But if you're providing jobs and you are working with people and you are providing a service, right? Being a good leader is just going to set the tone for everything you do. It's going to set the tone for the type of employees that you attract and, more importantly, retain. It's going to impact how your company grows, and it's going to impact how your customers view you, and you're going to attract the type of customer that you want. Okay. So, leadership is really key to all of this. And it's like, you don't have to be this micromanager or this total hard ass, and excuse the French, right? And you don't have to be a pushover. You can be fair. You have to run a business. You have to make decisions. But when you come at it from a place of leadership and a point of view that your company is not just yours, but is everybody who works in it, great things are going to happen. So I'm going to really encourage you all to, as you've been reflecting on leadership and you see these great examples of people come around, aspire for that and take a step back. And if you haven't thanked your employees today, thank them, right? They don't have to show up, And so, so I'm going to leave you with that, right? So, thinking about leadership and all that other great stuff, of course, we have our Chief Companion Officer, Miss Daisy. And, she likes to lead too. And so when we go out on our walks, because, even though the kids bought the dog over here, it's good old mom who's actually taking her out. And so, so I thought I'd just make her part of the company too. So she always loves to lead the way. And so I'm going to leave you guys today with a little video of her out on the trails, leading me down the path and making sure I get home safe. So while I cue that up, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in today. If there's any topics that you would like to hear about, let me know. And please, connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. And I know I give too many directives. I'm told this all the time, but would love to hear from you. And you'll have a great week. And we'll see you next Tuesday, where we're going to talk a little bit more about who's in the finance department, right? And so, anyways, you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for coming. And here's our little Daisy girl. Bye.